Hi, my name is Morgan and this is Liam and Sid, and this is our video broadcast on sports systems for sport management and development at the University of Canberra. We will start by explaining the basic principles of Sport for All and how it can be achieved using different sport delivery systems. We will then go into a deeper analysis of these systems by following the journey of Tim Cahill, one of Australia's most famous soccer players. We've chosen Cahill for our case study because he is an extremely well-known sporting figure, but he also highlights some of the issues with Australian sport, as he felt the need to develop his career overseas. Before we analyse Cahill's experiences, we need to introduce some of the core principles involved in sporting systems.
The term Sport for All was first coined in Europe in 1964, being used to describe an international social movement. This movement aims to encourage all members of the public to participate in sports, regardless of age or ability. It is based on the idea that sport participation is a basic human right and should be a part of everybody's healthy lifestyle. Although in 1964, the term only referred to policies and programs aimed towards increasing participation. The term Sport for All has since been adapted to have several different meanings. Some organisations use it to describe all sporting initiatives, including those aimed at the professional development of elite athletes. These typically break Sport for All down into two components: sport equity and sport development.
While these two components are often described as separate, with policies being labelled as either one or the other, in reality there is no clear definition that separates them. These two components of Sport for All are closely intertwined and benefit from the successes of each other. For example, mass participation initiatives can help more individuals find a sport they enjoy and excel at, and lead to more potential athletes looking to enter into a development pathway. Similarly, elite sport can drive interest in a sport and inspire spectators to try it for themselves. This is called the trickle-down effect, and is often used to justify government funding of elite sports. Additionally, elite athletes and coaches often get involved in grassroots and participation-focused initiatives, as we will see with our case study Tim Cahill later on.
A sport delivery system is any process that allows participation in some form of sport. These systems are specific for a given sport and competition, and systems can differ wildly between sports. Consequently, the organisations involved can be very different. In this talk, we are focusing on the systems as they pertain to soccer. However, the basic principles apply to most organised forms of sport. For programs focusing on sport equity or mass participation, a delivery system can be as simple as a single organisation renting a court, recruiting participants, designing a tournament, and developing a simple rule set. One example of this is the weeknight social sports, hosted by Urban Rec. However, as competition levels rise and athletes become more elite, the system needs to become more complex. This leads to the formation of clubs to handle player recruitment and team formation, state and national organisations to develop rule sets and tournament formats, and regulatory bodies to monitor and enforce these rules. Government involvement can be seen at all these levels through funding. However, the extent of this involvement can vary wildly between sports, countries, and administrations.
In Australia, soccer is the most played team sport, with over 400,000 adult participants in 2014, but it has a much smaller public spotlight than other sports at the elite level, as can be seen by the relative spectatorship of AFL, rugby, and soccer. This is likely an important reason why there is a distinct lack of a coordinated development pathway for soccer in Australia. Indeed, the onus of player development has been shifted entirely onto the individual clubs, with the FFA Centre of Excellence being closed in 2017. This means that there is no set path for soccer players to develop their skills in Australia, and every athlete has to find their own way through the club system. Because of this, many clubs have developed relationships and pathways between themselves, with higher level clubs having feeder clubs that often pass through. The system works very similarly in England, however soccer is much more ingrained in English culture. This means that the development pathways and systems are much better implemented and of a higher quality and competition level, creating a lot more opportunity for advancement if you have the skill and work ethic.
We now are going to look at Tim Cahill's personal journey to becoming an international athlete. Tim Cahill started playing soccer at the age of 4, initially playing for local clubs and schools. As Cahill was playing in his older brother's team, he was always playing against older kids. He attributes a lot of his early skill development to this fact, as well as his passion and constant practice at home. As Cahill was young and small compared to the other players, he had difficulty finding a youth Premier League team to sign him. However, his skill eventually told, and Cahill joined his first semi-professional under-20s team in 1995 at the age of 16.
After playing in Sydney for 2 years, Cahill made the decision to move to England and trial for premiership teams there, instead of continuing his career in Australia. There were several reasons for this, including his father's history and his boyhood dreams, but the major reason was the higher quality of English soccer clubs and the better opportunities for career development. He made this move despite the financial hardships it put on his family, because he believed he could make it, and he knew it would be better for his career on the long term. His faith was rewarded when he was signed onto the Millwall United Youth Soccer team in 1997.
Cahill joined the struggling 2nd Division Millwall men's team in 1998 and played with them for 7 years, during which time they managed to reach the FA Cup final. Cahill's performance for Millwall drew attention from other Premier League clubs, and he was signed to Everton in 2004. At the end of his first season there, he was also nominated as the club's Fans Player of the Year, being the first Australian player to achieve this honour. At this point, Cahill's career was secured in the upper echelons of elite soccer, and for the next several years his career focused on match performance rather than personal development. Cahill spent 8 years playing for Everton before moving to America in 2012. Cahill chose to leave the English Premier League because he was getting too old for the demands of the league and knew it would impair his ability to play for the Australian national team. This was the pinnacle of Cahill's professional career, and from this point, he was focused on his family, representing Australia and promoting soccer around the world.
Cahill navigated the professional soccer scene largely on his own, and very rarely did he benefit from personal relationships to get ahead. He was instead recognized for his own merit and work ethic. Likewise, all of his skills were developed by his own hard work inside the club's development systems, and he rarely got the opportunity to attend additional academies. This is in contrast with some other players whose connections have helped guide them along their career. One example is current Socceroo Daniel Arzani, whose affiliation with Melbourne City helped him to attend a Manchester City Development Academy in 2016 and secure him a spot in Manchester City's Premier League squad in 2018.
Cahill's international career started young, playing 2 games for Samoa in the under-20s national team when he was only 14. He didn't play another international game for 10 years, until 2004 when FIFA changed their rules on nationality, allowing players to change their allegiance as long as they could demonstrate a clear birth connection. This allowed Cahill to change his allegiance to Australia when he played his first competitive international match for Australia in the 2004 OFC Cup. The Socceroos' success in this competition earned them a place in the World Cup qualifiers and led to them qualifying for the World Cup for the first time in 30 years, where Cahill became the first Australian to score a World Cup goal. Cahill would go on to play in the next 4 World Cups, being the only Australian player to personally score during 3 World Cups.
Cahill has used his international fame to sponsor several participation and development initiatives over the years. One example of his drive to develop soccer around the world was in China, while playing for Shanghai Shenhua in the 2015-16 Chinese Super League. The reason Cahill chose to play in China during this period, despite offers to play in Europe and Australia, was the promise to be involved in a grassroots development program. In 2013, Cahill partnered with Foxtel to create the Foxtel Tim Cahill Academy, an academy that delivers elite coaching expertise to everyday kids for free in Australia. The academy has expanded over the last few years and now includes several different programs designed to encourage kids to participate in soccer and improve their skills. These are just 2 examples of several programs Cahill has helped develop to deliver sport for all.
While most sport are enjoyed across the globe and can be used to penetrate language and cultural barriers. The way in which sport is delivered can differ widely between countries. A good example of this is the career pathway of elite soccer players, as seen with Tim Cahill. While the concepts utilized are fairly similar in both Australia and England, the quality of their results are very different. This is due to a combination of funding, long-term focus, and prestige. This means elite athletes often travel abroad to develop their careers in order to reach their potential. Tim Cahill is one such athlete, and he is unlikely to have reached the same level of international fame had he not taken the risk to develop his career in England. While the English system is in part responsible for his athletic achievements, it is also important to recognize the part his self-determination and desire to succeed for his family has played. Elite athletes also tend to promote sport for all for their chosen discipline in their later careers, as seen with Cahill's many programs, and his later career decisions focusing on where he can do the most good for soccer in the world.
Thank you for listening to our broadcast. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more videos.